Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Fable, and welcome to the party. Also, a couple things. One, thank you, K-Penguin and Code Soul Cast for following, and two, Kyle, I see your hydrate, and
yeah, you better drink that
yeah,
freaking water.
It's actually tea. Anyway,
it's just leaf water.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. You're watching the inaugural FABLEDOOM actual play live stream. For those who don't know, FABLEDOOM is a rules light, genre agnostic TTRPG. It's got infinite customization, pretty minimal math, and fairly fast combat. The pre-launch is already live on Kickstarter, so if you want to check it out, if you like what you see here, go do that. There's more info if you type in the command Kickstarter. That's going to be running from January 25th to February 15th. Again, commands all have that info. Ask them out if you need help. That said, let's get to the fun part. Today I am joined by Ty, Loopy Fritz, Wes, and Kyle. And if you guys want to introduce yourselves in that order, feel free to.
Okay. I'm Ty. I am a creator on the interwebs for mostly system agnostic TTRPG content, mostly in the fantasy realm. A lot of people will know my tavern posters, although I do write adventures as well. You can find me on the interwebs as of Metal and Magic, on Twitter as at metal_and_magic, because of Metal and Magic was taken. And on my website of metalandmagic.com. And for the most part, you'll hear me talking in a very English accent as the Minotaur Ardent.
Hi, I'm Loopy Fritz. I am a free-time creator on the interwebs, running a stream and YouTube channel called My Friend Plays. I do it in my free time, so don't have a consistent schedule yet, but if you want to check it out, feel free. I will be the good Reverend T. Jedediah Dog.
Everyone, my name is Wesley. I am a technologist by trade, musician by hobby, and a big board game enthusiast. I'm also a spreadsheets junkie, so I'll be serving as the resident note taker for this game, so forgive me if I'm a little bit slow to respond on occasion. I don't have any of my own active projects to plug, so instead I will plug the Devious Weasel Game Company, which is a board game development company I've worked with for about a decade now. They make a lot of really fun and unique stuff, including my current favorite non-RPG board game, Cosmic Frog.
I'm Kyle Newbridge. I do a lot of things. I'm a freelance artist, writer. I do my own Twitch streams at KNewbridge. Biggest project right now is a fiction podcast called Anachronistic, which just released its 8th episode yesterday. Yeah, I made all sorts of those things. I'll be playing. Let me scan the right register for it. I'll be playing Energy News Smoke. The ass-kicking chef. It's definitely not a rip-off of a One Piece character. Don't worry about it. I am also responsible for other little character art cards because of who I am as a person.
That's right. Kyle actually threw together all of the cards that you're seeing over here for our characters. So big shout out. Kyle does do commissions. So just throwing that out there. Find more info at his website. Kyle also has a command in the chat, so do that. All right.
To introduce my character, I will be playing Beauregard Bosco Jones.
The Beauregard.
These voices are great.
Hyped for these voices.
Wait, voice. This is just how I talk.
know what you're on about. Making fun of our
Oh my
speech
god.
patterns.
I'ma die. All right, yeah. Okay, let's keep going. So we're going to be playing Gods and Monsters. That's a FableDoom original adventure set in Eterra, which is the same world as my podcast, Stories for Monsters. Specifically, it's between the events described in episodes 9 and 10. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't listened, this is happening in that time. Specifically, this story happens after Erebus has come to defeat the old gods and introduced the Great Magnolias into Eterra. But before the people holed up in the walled cities actually found out about that. Our party over here is playing as their own agency of private investigators, called Penumbra. You've already introduced your characters before I actually asked you to. So,
Whoops.
it's
Or info if you need.
Yeah, we
No,
can go a little bit more into our characters if you like.
you know what?
I've got 1,000 chapters of One Piece to pull from. We're good.
Actually, so we got a little bit more on Kanji and Bosco than we did on Ardent and Reverend T. Jedediah Dog. So if you two want to talk about your own characters or give a quick summary before we start, that would actually be really cool.
Sure, we can definitely do that. Also, I just want to say I'm loving the names so far. Just beautiful. I can't wait to hear them over and over again.
I'm
So,
pretty hyped.
Ardent. You'll probably notice he is the one that stands out physically from the rest of the group. He is a Minotaur. As far as we know, the only Minotaur here in Eterra. He was a bodyguard for another private investigator, one that we all know by the name of Regis. And I'd say he was a very good bodyguard right up until Regis disappeared without a trace, but not before forming our little band of investigators.
Mhm.
He's warming up to the idea of being an investigator himself, although he's a little bit shy about that idea. He's more about the brute force. He's a little impatient and very not confident, which is strange for somebody that is so big and lurking.
And Reverend T. Jedediah Dog, what about you?
Well, Jedediah is a newer reverend. He came up known as a criminal fixer, cleaning up after messes, smuggling, gun running, wet work, did all of it. But after the miracle of the tree and the egg and meeting with Cassandra, decided to point his talents geared more toward helping the underserved than aiding in their oppression. So, coming out of his work, he still uses those skills, but more for getting resources to the people that have them taken from. He was he did a few jobs with Regis before Regis decided to get together this group of skilled people.
All right. I think we're ready to jump in. Yeah, let's delve right in. Before we start, I would like to steal a line from Joseph Fink, actually, or rather paraphrase it, because I don't remember exactly how he said it. But everything that follows is canon, except for the parts that aren't. I am going to give us a little bit of a brighter thing to start on for the musics. Just while we get started, something, nice. And I am also going to introduce our beautiful city that we are starting in, right here. Boom. Okay. Let's begin. So, we open in the walled tower city of Jesper. It is completely closed off to the world, and despite that, absolutely enormous, just based on its nature alone, and that it was founded originally to be something of an ark to all living creatures, back in the day of the reign of the old gods, when they were killing just everything around. This is a time of pretty dreary report. It's a time before the stars and before the moon. And of course, in this city, that is accentuated by the lack of daylight, the enclosed nature of it. It's a city that's beautiful at the top, but once you delve into it, is filled with smoke and smog and grime. And of course, this is the city that all of our characters have called home since the day they were born. This story in particular, though, begins on one day, fairly early in the morning. I'm sure that at the very least, Bosco is probably a little hungover from the night before, with Sofer.
Just a bit.
Just a little bit. You go into your agency, and the door is already unlocked. You find, of course, the lovely Lena Ghosh is already there in the agency, waiting for you, and she looks a little nervous and flustered that you're all arriving at once, and she's got somewhere to go. But she looks at everyone and says, "Hi, Kanji and Bosco and Ardent and Reverend."
Good morning, Miss Ghosh.
Yeah, so she brushes a hand through her kind of paint freckled hair, which does not help anything at all. And she continues, "Hey, so I just wanted to remind you guys about the festival that we have going on tonight. All of the Sunshine Square dancers are going to be there, and we're hoping that there's going to be a lot of good food, and everyone from the elite layers above to like all the layers below, everyone's invited. It's a pretty big deal, and anyone who's anyone is going to be there, like even the mayor. We're prepping all through the day, but the festival is going to be from dusk till dawn, so it'd be really cool to see you there. That's all. I'm not going to put any pressure on you besides what I already have to show up.
Nina,
But I
I wouldn't
brought
listen
you-
to the world, darling. Gorgeous. Wink.
She kind of
Kanji
pauses.
is actively blushing.
She kind of pauses, and then she holds up 4 letters, and she says, "Hey, I saw the mailman before coming in. I really hope you guys can come, but if you don't, I understand. It looks like it's going to be a pretty busy day for you. And she holds out the letters to Kanji. All right. Thank you so much for hearing me out. I'm gonna go to the gardens, the vertical gardens, and we're gonna get everything set up. So hopefully we'll see you there. Bye. And she makes kind of a flustered exit before you guys say anything else.
Anji just shouts as she runs down the street. I'll see you tonight.
She seemed a little bit out of sorts.
She's probably just stressed with work.
You have
Well,
several letters, four letters, and they look like these. So you have one that is addressed from Kensen Len. You have one that is addressed from Humbert. One that is addressed from Gerald Hayes, who you all know, who lives in the layer below yours. And you have one that is addressed from 1001 Spruce, which, at the very least, from the street name, you would know that is somewhere in the elite ring, actually. Also, in order, the one from 1001 Spruce feels the heaviest. I believe Humbert's would be the bulkiest. Gerald's is probably second to 1001 in terms of weight, and Kensen Len's feels very much like a normal letter in terms of its weight.
Interesting thing about the morning with.
And if you want to see the outside of the letters first, by all means, again, you can do that. They all have different clues as to what you will find there. And that's all I'm going to give you before you get to the scenes.
They are they're addressed to the agency, I'm assuming, not to me specifically.
That is correct.
I just
I was
making
going to
sure.
ask if they had been personalized beyond the names and
Sure haven't.
Cool.
I would like
Well
to grab the letter from Gerald Hayes, please.
Gerald Hayes. All right. There's the outside of it. It's got the stethoscope on it. Gerald Hayes. Let's see. I am going to turn this screen so that we can actually see this.
What do we have here? The authorities have turned up nothing. You folks are my last hope for Amina.
I beg
just
your
want my
pardon?
family back.
All right. So there's Gerald's letter. It has enclosed with it 40 gold. Which is, for all intents and purposes, for our world, if I remember right, that's close to $400.
Well, you.
I
A
must
nice
have been his
payday
last
and
day.
a chance to visit old Amina Hayes.
So yeah, there's that. Which one did you guys want to look at next?
Arden will cautiously reach his hand out, and then instead of actually like grabbing one, could you pass me the one to 1001 Spruce?
Kanji nods his head and passes the letter over like between two fingers,
Thank you very
while
much.
lighting up a cigarette with his other hand somehow.
All right. 1001
Arden
Spruce.
Pulls out a letter opener and cautiously opens the letter.
All right, here you go.
To whom it may concern, there has been a murder, and we wish to find the culprit and exact a befitting price. Please come to the address on the envelope to discuss it further. If more is needed, money and resources are no object.
And enclosed are is 5 platinum, which is the equivalent of about $500.
Arden just takes the envelope and empties the coins onto one of the desks in our office.
Goodness gracious.
Indeed. Say that
Thank you,
again.
big whale.
Who's next?
Kanji holds out both letters to the Reverend.
Could you remind me the names of the two that are left?
Yes, they are Kensen Len, who has this lovely kind of monstrous mouth over here on the corner, and Humbert, which looks like the legs of a satyr that have been bitten and scratched up.
The Reverend will pick up the Humber letter.
All right, Humbert.
Thank you, Candy.
Here is
Kanji gives a
Humbert's
nod.
letter. And if I can, like, get this to 90 degrees, that'd be great. All right, there's that.
Humbert says, need you to track someone who attacked me at the gardens. Standard down payment is enclosed. The rest on delivery.
And enclosed is 10 gold.
Simple tracking job.
All right, and that leaves the very
Kanji will-
last. Yeah, Kensen
Yep.
Lan. Again with the mouth there. Here's his letter.
This is the last time I'm reaching out to your so-called investigations agency. I'll pay triple what we agreed, but I want this solved now, or I'm finding someone else for the job, and never recommending Penumbra to anyone ever again. Kensen Lan.
And of course, nothing is enclosed aside from the actual letter itself in this case.
Kanji crumples up the letter and tosses it in the waste bin.
Does
Do we,
anyone
does the
remember
name
talking-
ring a bell?
Not particularly, no. He was actually, well, the name would ring a bell, yes. He was given a quote several weeks ago. And he's losing property. So he's got some money on the line already. And he, like, none of you have gone out to visit him from the start. Also, surprise organs. I forgot that was in this playlist. I'm gonna get us to something a little, you know, more neutral. I knew that was gonna happen at some point.
So since he has land on the line, I'm assuming he's a affluent member of the city.
What do you mean by affluent?
Okay, so Kanji's restaurant, he would be coming in through the top doors rather than the bottom.
No, he would be coming in through the bottom doors actually. But Kanji Kanji might recognize his name. I hadn't thought about it, but since he does all of the work with like the soup kitchen and of course that he's a chef, you know that Kensen Lan is a farmer. He's a farmer. He's from the lower levels, so he's disadvantaged, and it means a lot that he's actually reaching out to people who have an agency on the commercial layer of Jesper. So yeah, this is a big deal for him, and it really sucks that no one's gotten back to him. This is not the first time he's reached out, and he's again gotten as far as getting a quote. And of course, he sells you crops for food.
Doesn't have to be rude about it though.
Correct me if I'm
Yeah,
wrong, but
hey, was he like this like, was his manner when he first approached us similar to
Oh
his
no,
manner in the letter? No? Okay.
no.
Did
More
he approach
amiable?
us in person or just through letter?
You would have like
We all would
probably
have known not.
seen his letters would have started more kindly, and more
Okay.
well mannered. But again, he's reached out and he's gotten a quote, and he's had multiple interactions, but no one has actually followed through and investigated at his place.
That's awkward.
Yeah, no, it's a penumbra dropped the ball here sort of thing. Oh.
Sure, but I mean, we gotta get paid.
Thank you, Robo Leader.
Well
I
then, it
hadn't
seems
really
we've got
asked.
full cases in front of us. Do we divide and conquer, or approach one at a time?
Oh, well, I don't think we should fully split up. I won't get as much done, but we should at least split in two ways. I imagine.
I'll
Agreed.
tell you what, I'm going to go see Gerald, because he's mentioned something about Miss Amina.
I would second that. I would like to come with you for that one.
Okay.
All right, I'm not going to go see Gerald Hayes.
I'm
All
going
right.
to switch this back over to.
As dramatic as my presentation had been, perhaps we, Reverend Yuna, should go talk to Ken-sen. Don't imagine he'll be.
It will take some time getting there, so yes, I think it's most efficient we get there first. See
All
what
right.
all the fuss is about.
So, you know that. Let's see. So you said the Reverend and Kanji are going to Kensen, and the rest
Bosco
are
and
going
Ardent.
to Bosco and
Gerald.
Ardent are going to Gerald. Okay. Sure. Let's you know what? Let's
Give Gerald my best.
All right. So yeah. Obviously Gerald would be more in the kind of residential area, close to the Petal District, and
Which
Kensen
layer
will
is-
be down in the farmland kind of layer. Pardon?
Which level are the gardens on?
The gardens are on the same level as you are. They're kind of close to the entrance to the elite layer. They're on the commercial layer. I'm not sure if I said this earlier on the stream, but again, this city is enormous. It's basically each one of these layers is as big as a city, and they are stacked on top of each other with like one main empty channel going down through the bottom. But yeah, they are they're enormous. And what I have here with the elite commercial, residential, farmland, old town, dwarves, ruins, etc. These are just kind of markers as to what is mostly there, but certainly not exclusively there. Okay, let's since you guys are splitting up right off the bat, let's start off with Gerald Hayes.
Sure. Before we do split off, do we want to meet back here after respective initial interviews or proceedings with cases, or proceed on from that to the next case?
Well,
If
where's
so,
this
then we should
1001
decide on a
spruce?
secondary case between each of us.
Fair enough.
You would know that 1001 Spruce is
Mm-hmm.
on the elite layer, so it's at the top. Typically, it is barred to anyone who is not like rich or noble. There is a seal on the letter as well, that would show that you indeed are granted access to go into the elite layer. So that's your
It'll
way in. There's one physical pass.
We should definitely meet back up after we get initial information. We don't want to split up too much for when it actually comes down to the boots on the ground work.
Besides, we want to get back in time to visit the vertical gardens for tonight's festivities.
All right. I am going to note, by the way, again, these are really big layers, so it is going to
Gonna take a while.
yeah,
to travel.
travel takes a good long time. So
So it's go to the festival or go on a trip. There's no way.
oh no, I
get
mean
back.
it's possible to make it back in time. I'm just saying that like the number of trips
between
the number of
levels and
trips
levels and
matters.
levels, yeah.
So like depending on how much you split up each case, that'll take up time later. And make things a bit more dire later.
It's pretty early. Perhaps Connie and I will, if our initial assessment is we can solve this case on farmlands, we'll return and be able to take the cases together. If we're not back by noon, we might consider taking on the cases without us.
Where is Humbert located? Is he farmlands, Old Town?
Humbert is actually the closest. He's kind of on the edge of the residential, but he's got from his location, he's got really easy access both to the commercial area and to the vertical gardens where this festival is being held and where Lena Ghosh would be. But presumably he'll be at home waiting for now.
All right. Well, if we're all wanting to get back in time for tonight, assuming we're able, I suppose whoever goes and visits old Ken Sin there could also stop by Mr. Hayes' house, and perhaps Spruce and Humbert can be all one kind of group too.
That is a very logical point.
Kanji, Reverend, you two are going to Ken Sin?
That's the plan.
That is correct.
All right. Bosco is gonna hand the letter from Gerald to Kanji and says, "All right, well, you take this, and you just keep an eye out, all right? Don't let nothing bad happen to Miss Hayes. You good for starting with 1001 Spruce?"
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Remember to be on your best behavior, Bosco.
Get a die, I ain't never been on anything less than my best behavior.
We're sending Bosco to the elite ring.
Bosco's got
Man.
Oh,
plenty
I
of
love this.
interactions with the elite. I don't know what y'all on about.
I
Okay.
will say my prayers.
I'm gonna
Ah,
Kanji
you're
is
in here.
realizing his mistake.
You can just see Ardent like giving eyes to the other members of the party.
like, you sure about this?
Like,
No, I love this. I love this. Okay, let's go from the top down. In that case, starting with the elite ring and 1001 Spruce. Aside from a little bit of harassment from the guards upon your arrival at the gates, after letting them see the seal, they eventually let you through, and you find your way to 1001 Spruce. This is a very, very large residence. It takes up enough land that there could be an entire neighborhood on this one person's land, right? And there are, in the further down layers of the city. But it's a big, like, dark wood kind of mansion, with a long kind of fence of stone and shaped hedges scattered about the yard. But you reach there and get to the door. I will note, Ardent, you would find this place familiar.
Yes.
Abner Doodle is asking if the icons on the map are going to move.
They are. I get into narrating and totally forgot about that. But
No
that's a good point right there. So let's see. Ardent is going up to the elite ring, and so is Bosco. And you guys were going. Kanji and the Reverend were both going to Gerald Hayes first, correct? On the way.
That is correct.
Okay. Gotcha. I'm just going to move you here. Right, because, yeah, you've got the elite and you've got... Okay, cool. Lovely. All right.
So before we even knock on the door, or even as we approach the main door, Arden will give a loud, audible sigh and pause, turn to Bosco.
What's
All
the
right,
matter,
now, Bosco.
Arden?
I just want you to know that the person behind this door is not someone to be messed with, not someone to be trifled with. They're dangerous. They may not seem it,
Dangerous.
but you're to
Sorry.
be on your best behavior. You promise me? Not your best behavior. No. You're to be on the Reverend's best behavior.
Reverend ain't nothing but a gooseberry bush on grapevine. He's so sour and prickly.
Well, why
Want
don't
me
you prove
acting
me
like
wrong
a
then?
10 silver hat on 5 copperhead? Fine, I'll be on his best behavior.
Wonderful.
But you owe me half of them platinums, you hear me?
I'll give you a larger share. Maybe not half.
Bosco holds out his hand and says, "Deal. I'll keep my mouth shut."
We may need to finish the case first. She may require this money back if we don't.
Oh, she, you say?
Actually, was it a she? I don't remember.
It is
It just
indeed
said
a...
1,001.
Okay.
The person that's going to be opening the door is a she.
Yeah.
I assume you knock.
Yes.
All right. The door is opened by a very small, old-looking gnome lady, who you recognize as Mara Kor. She's the help around here, and she looks fairly distressed, and she says, "Oh, you must be with Penumbra, yes? I assume that you got the letter and our 50% down payment without any trouble?"
Yes, that is correct. We arrived as promptly as we could.
Yes, well, thank you. There has been... Well, it's really better for me to just show you. Come in.
Arden nods and follows suit.
Yeah, she escorts you in and closes the door. And after the door is closed, she kind of stiffens up and starts walking down one of these halls, and explaining what's happening. As you walk, first of all, what you see around this area, everything is really, really, really clean. There is not a fingerprint or speck of dust to be seen around this entire house. But there are just trinkets and everything from weapons that look somewhat futuristic and pristine to you guys, to very traditional sorts of things. Everything from paintings to artifacts to pottery. Like, this person has all kinds of stuff just collected and on display in the house. There's umbrellas, there's boots, there's axes, just everything, like anything you can think of. But as she walks, she explains, yes, well, Master Velda has been murdered, and I was instructed to seek out your agency's help before seeking any other outside authorities. She stops. She stops at a door, presumably to Jaylee Velda's office and study, and she kind of pauses as she holds the door handle and says, "What you're about to see is very disturbing and gruesome, and I've it's been very hard not to clean it up or anything for the sake of your investigation, so I appreciate you being so swift. But if you could look around quickly so that this can be corrected as soon as possible, that would be greatly appreciated."
Of course. We will do our best.
And she opens the door, and you see an elf, Jali Velda. Effectively, at a first glance, he has been ripped in half.
Ooh.
It looks like he had tried to grab a weapon. There's one by his hand. But, plenty of good that did him. The room itself is a mess. There are shreds of papers strewn about. It looks like there was a pretty obvious scuffle. But besides that, if you want to know anything more, I would suggest rolling your own skills for anything that you would do to investigate.
Sure. Before we continue, he'll ask for privacy and we'll shut the door if it is given.
Yes, of course. If you need anything, let me know, and if and she pauses to consider and chew over her words very carefully here. If more compensation is needed to fully close this case, by no means is that a problem. And with that,
we shall certainly let you know.
Yeah, she shuts the door.
Ooh. Well,
As she's shutting the door, Bosco's going to say, "Our condolences, miss."
Thank you. And shuts the door. Let's see.
Arden actually goes over and hugs Bosco. And just says,
Bosco is not entirely sure how to respond to that. Arden's eyes, but is not necessarily opposed to physical affections, and gives Arden a nice pat on the back as well.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Ironoki, for subscribing.
Thank you very much, Bosco. That was very appreciated.
But of course, I'm not as gruff as y'all seem to think I am. But we'll handle that later. We should probably begin the examination. Okay. I'm going to roll for gumption, which
Gotcha.
is Bosco's ability for semi-magical awareness of one's surroundings and the insight to use it. So,
Okay.
essentially a supernatural perception check.
Gotcha.
Meanwhile, Ardent will be rolling deductivism. All of the tricks he's picked up from being a bodyguard to a private investigator, as well as everything he's learned from having to survive on the streets.
Gotcha. Okay. Tell me what your rolls are.
My gumption roll was a 12.
All right, a
That's
12.
including modifier.
Okay.
That's with the modifier?
With the modifier. Yeah, not a great roll. Should we explain to the viewers how FableDoom's skill system works?
Sure, I can do that really quick.
Yeah.
So basically, FableDoom's skill system works such that you choose your own skills, and you kind of use them as a wide range of specialty. Like much knowledge, they're meant to be intersectional. You get XP every time you use a skill. Once you get enough XP, you get modifier points to add to your roll. And once the modifier points hit up to the highest possible roll that you have for your current dice rank, the die itself will jump up too. In a nutshell. You can know more when we've got the core rulebook funded on Kickstarter.
Indeed.
All right. What was Ardent's roll?
I rolled a 10, and I get a modifier of 10, so 20 total.
All right. Let's start with you first then.
Okay.
Right off the bat, you have done a couple of things. One, you looked for entry and exit. And you did find that there are these big gashes on the windowsill. They look like something with claws came in and came out. You might also notice that there are, again, scraps of paper. They seem cold and wet. But you might notice a couple of the names that have survived on these papers. One is Regis Fleck, your former boss that you've been looking for. One is the Cardinal Company. And one is the Cult of the Old Gods. Obviously,
And
this is evidence that was meant to be pretty well destroyed. So it's a lot that you got that you got all three names out of that roll. Moving on to what Bosco finds. Bosco will note that again, everything's kind of cold and wet. This the tears and gashes in Gélie Valdez's clothes and flesh seem violently unnatural. They are unlike anything that you have ever seen before. Wherever there's a cut, it seems to kind of be on the verge of what would have become frostbite if he had lived. And you'll note that his eyes have turned kind of a pale gray, and that one of them is in the shape of an X or a cross. Thank you, Sweenicus, for following. But yeah, that's what you see. You also both managed to see that he did indeed try to grab a saber. It doesn't look particularly special, other than maybe a couple of enchantments to make sure that it stays strong and sharp. It is bloodied. And it looks like, he had tried to he'd tried to use it to defend himself pretty hard, and again, did not work.
Oh boy.
Auden, do you know
Yes.
much about this Velda character?
Very little, I'm afraid. What I can tell you, in good confidence, since we should know more about our employers, is that she was a member of the Thieves Guild, or at least a correspondent with the Thieves Guild.
So what you're saying is probably quite a bit of combat experience.
Not unreasonable to assume so. Unfortunately, most of my experiences with Velda were as Regis's bodyguard. So it was my job to stay in the back rather than interact directly.
Won't you come take a look at these wounds here?
Absolutely.
These don't seem like the kind of things one would train to fight or defend oneself against.
No, not unless you were hunting beasts about twice or thrice your own size.
And
Had to say that even I couldn't do that.
I don't know for certain I'd be able to as well.
Very curious. Here, take a look at these scraps of paper.
Let's see.
We have
Cardinal
Regis,
Company.
Cardinal Company, and of course, Cult of the Old Gods.
A couple of notes that I think your characters would know, and of course that our audience, being new to this, doesn't know. These are two pretty big names. The Cardinal Company is effectively a bunch of elitist, intellectual, like knowledge gatekeepers. They control pretty much all the valuable information in Jesper, and they use it and lend it out with a great deal of discretion, and they can, of course, control some of the ways that society leans because of that. But they are the people that anyone goes to if they want to know something really badly.
Anji hates them.
It is it's also fairly common knowledge that they do. Oh, thank you for the cheer. It is fairly common knowledge that they do actually tend to study any sort of magical advances that they can. Magic is growing in terms of its use and popularity, and strange happenings have been on the rise. For example, our dear friend Ardent here is a creature that did not exist before, and suddenly is here in our midst.
Hello.
And then there's the Cult of the Old Gods. Now, there have been quite a few disappearances and even murders lately. And that's, of course, why you guys have been so busy, why you haven't been able to get to Kensenlan or any of the other kind of just, okay, I'm going to search for something sort of jobs. There are some rumors about the Cult of the Old Gods being the ones behind some of these disappearances and murders, but there hasn't really been any proof yet for that. This, of course, could potentially turn very incriminating. This is very clearly a pretty big case. But yeah, what do you guys do with that knowledge? Oh, thank you so much.
Woo! Oh yeah, thank you for the gift sub.
Woo.
All right. Yeah. So what do you guys do with that knowledge?
I'm very curious to see Regis's name here. Well, I suppose not that curious, but in connection, I suppose, with the company and the cult.
Carriers are stills, this Cult of the Old Gods here. Thieves Guild I'm a bit more familiar with, but cults? It looks to be ice murder. That's a bit new. And check out these eyes here. You haven't seen anything like it?
No, I can't say that I've had even in my wildest dreams. This is very disturbing.
Sounds fishy. You don't see this kind of murder for political gain.
No, this seems rather aggressive for political game. This almost seems like a message.
Indeed.
Stop searching, perhaps.
Think this Gelly Verda might have, Velda, sorry. Gelly Velda might have some connection to the Cardinal Company. We are in the elite ring, after all.
Delay? No. That would be... Suppose anything's possible. We can't rule anything out, but, in my personal opinion, very unlikely. The Thieves Guild is somewhat antithesis to them, if I remember correctly.
For the sake of everyone, I'm actually going to put Jelly Velda's name into our chat here so that you can see it.
I can do
in
it if you
terms
want.
of how it's spelled and pronounced. I totally think that Bosco would hands down ruin the
Absolutely.
name anyway, so I have no qualms with the way that it was said.
Yeah, not gonna lie, fantasy names with some of the ridiculous voices we're doing are gonna be they're gonna be fun.
Yes.
Thank you for
Totally
the follow,
different.
Saberfly.
Also, thank you for the gift up.
And I'm going to put this into the normal chat as well, so that you guys can all see that. Yeah.
Oh,
How's that murder going with that jelly velvet?
There is
I don't know,
a
man. Found one of your dishes.
there's a knock on the door, and Mara opens it up and says, "Have you been able to collect everything that you need to?"
Like we've got at least a few leads.
on the inside,
On-
certainly. Is there... Have you found anything on the outside, by any chance?
Like what?
Marks of an incoming intruder.
Anything scratching, like these marks here.
Exactly.
I mean, if there were, then the gardeners would have already, taken care of it. Since I've contacted you all first before telling anyone else. As per Mr. Velda's orders.
Well, I suppose we could talk to the gardeners, see if they found anything. And did you... where... Not that I'm accusing you, of course. Where were you about the time of this happenstance? Or when was the last time you saw Velda alive?
I was out on some business at the time. I found him last night, and immediately got my letter sent. The last time I saw him alive would have been, the day prior, actually. This
Oh,
is all
okay.
very fresh.
If you don't mind, ma'am, you mentioned that Mr. Velda here would want you to contact us first.
Yes.
Was there any indication he may have known something untoward was coming his way?
I suspect that's why he asked me to contact you. At this point, though, it's beyond us to do anything to save him, so
No,
any
all we can do is
recompense
hope
that we can seek from whoever did this, is all we can get.
Indeed.
suspect it has to do with his latest pokings and proddings into his next business venture with the Cardinal Company.
Oh, there was a business venture, you say?
Yes, but and she kind of stiffens up and not in a way that's like scared, but in a way that she's not open to trying to speak about this. I'm afraid that's all I can tell you about that.
Arden kind of just kneels down, gets to eye level, puts both hands on her shoulders, and just kind of like comfortingly like grips her shoulders. I understand. You don't need to tell us anything more than you're comfortable with. However, every little piece of information, no matter how insignificant it may seem, it'll certainly help. And I'm hoping you use my kind heart calm aura talent.
You know what? Roll for it. For this particular character, roll for it.
12 plus 18 for a 30.
Ooh. She kind of well, look, Ardent, I know you're a good person. Regis wouldn't have started what he did, or left you all to do this without that. It's more that I want to be very careful about the sort of information that I share, given the sort of trade that we're dealing with and the sort of business venture that I'm sure that you are aware of. And she looks at you very knowingly, but kind of glances at Bosco because she hasn't seen him before.
Absolutely. There's
Bosco would
only
like
so
to
much you're supposed to know. Only so much I'm supposed to know.
Also,
Bosco would like to
thank you,
take off
Cam
his
Sullivan, for the follow.
Sorry, what was that, Bosco?
Bosco would like to take off his hat and say, "Ma'am, I understand that I may be causing some conflict here. If it would make you a bit more comfortable, I don't mind stepping out for just a moment for you and my compatriot here to speak privately."
She actually does look a bit more at ease there. And says, if you wouldn't mind, yes, that would be appreciated.
Bosco nods, puts his hat on, and walks out the door.
She kind of slumps and looks at Ardent.
Meanwhile, Arden's gonna look for something that he can cover the body with.
She immediately has this very tired but knowing air. The way that she carries herself completely changes. As you know, Jolie Velda was a thief, and a good one. Previously, the head of the Thieves Guild. I don't know if you knew how high up he was, but now you do. Jelly and Regis were trying to find out about the progression of magic here in Jesper. Everything has been changing, and especially after meeting you, they had a more vested interest in finding answers. So, Jelly and Regis both started looking into the Cardinal Company. Regis went missing, as you already know, And so Jelly continued the investigation on his own. This is the result of that investigation. He was trying to steal information from the Cardinal Company, what I assume are the documents that are on the floor. Alas, I have been unsuccessful in my attempts to parse whatever he found. And so now I'm trying to piece it together in his stead. If you need anything, if you need more money, if you need resources, don't hesitate to ask. I want to find out who did this and why.
Well, I don't think it'll be a matter of money. I think it might be a matter of resources, though. Tell me, is there anywhere safe? Either of them, Velda, Regis, would have kept their work, their clues, investigations. I can imagine Velda was a very careful individual.
Frankly, this entire estate is enchanted. So no one should have been able to breach it. As for the important documents, he was clearly studying them at the time, so I doubt that there's anything else, but if you need me to, I can try and open up some other safes and find out.
That would definitely be helpful.
Right. She leads you past another few rooms. Like, one is clearly some sort of armory. and like there are other tools of the trade, the deeper and deeper that you guys go in. But she gets into one room, kind of takes down a painting and opens up a safe behind it. There are indeed a few papers. Obviously they don't tell everything, but it seems that the Cardinal Company might have been funneling some money into the cult of the old gods. The question here would have been exactly why, and the answer would have been whatever documents that he had. But you know that there was money involved for them, and you know that those two parties involved both had something on the line because of it.
Dear, have you gotten yourself into? Well, I appreciate everything, and you have my condolences.
Naturally. She takes the papers back and puts them in the safe, locks it back up, puts the painting back in front of it. Is that all you'll need for now?
Yes, thank you very much.
Very well. If you need anything else, keep the seal, and feel free to come back.
And
whenever
you know
you
what
do find anything, by all means, let me know, and we would be able to mobilize appropriately.
Martin just kind of gives a knowing nod.
Okay, and she escorts you back out.
All right, where he presumably meets up with Bosco, unless Bosco went on a side mission.
It was been standing there right outside the door.
No, just waiting.
Just
Spinning his
waiting.
6-shooter.
Polishing his customized rifle, Angelica, as it's something want to do, whilst waiting for chatting between the upper folks, of course.
All right.
Well then.
Let's see. Do you guys discuss anything before moving on?
Yeah. Ardent would say, well, it seems your hunch may be right, Bosco.
Bosco is gonna nod and say, "Usually is,"
Always gotta trust the gut.
and there is unfortunately quite a guts to trust right now.
That there be.
There be.
So-
I'm gonna think we'd probably be leaving the premises pretty quickly to continue talking.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Ardent will try
that's
and
safe to assume.
discreetly. Ardent will try and discreetly fill him in on everything
Very well.
as they walk.
You guys are also heading over to, let's see, and you guys were going to head to Humbert after that, correct?
Yes.
And Kanji and Jedediah, you were heading for Gerald and then Kenson, correct?
Yes, I would like to recommend we stop by my restaurant first, though.
Sure.
For
Yeah, let's do that. While the other two are in the midst of travel. We're well into the day by now, of course, because of all the travel, by the way. Kanji, what do you want to do at the restaurant?
I want to stop into the back room of the soup kitchen where I have a couple of trusted workers organizing the information I've gathered and pick up any files on Kensen, primarily. To see if I've had anyone actually already looking into this.
Well, no, there's nothing on Kenson, unfortunately.
That case.
You will note, one of your head cooks comes up to you and says, "Sir, we're out of dishwasher today. We had a new guy. He hasn't shown up for some reason."
Yeah, it's too bad. Maybe you can run by Kevin's place, see if he can come in. I know he was planning on taking the day off.
Yeah, maybe.
He has no interest in the festival, so we actually probably shouldn't be expecting too much of a busy rush tonight, thanks to the festival taking people away, and we're not catering it, so
Right.
we can actually probably expect a lower turnout tonight.
You didn't get permission to cater?
I was advised strongly against it, and I think we can do more work, better work, without being directly involved.
Right. Well. All right. I'll try and call Kevin. He lives closer anyway.
Is there anyone in the soup kitchen right now who I could maybe call a favor from?
Well, they all were pretty busy, and now they're kind of slowing down because you've said to. I would say yes if they weren't already kind of short-staffed. But I mean, you can always bring it up. Again, like to the guy.
I'm talking about customers who, rather than actual employees. Like, I'm trying to gain information here, so sort of Sherlock Holmes Homeless Network style.
Gotcha.
Any regulars, maybe?
Yeah, they're Well, first of all, you're going to notice that some of your regulars are not there, and that Handeth is also not there. He hasn't shown up, and he usually would have by now. You walk up to one of them, and well, how do you phrase your question here? There's kind of a scruffy guy in a coat having a coffee and some oatmeal, but he does like mark that you're coming toward him.
Hey friend, how's the oatmeal today?
That's good as always.
Glad to hear it. Hey, you got anything going on this afternoon?
Just a festival.
Uh, Before it starts, you think you could do me a favor and maybe ask around about a guy? I imagine he's been throwing a fit around somewhere, and I'm trying to get information on what that might be about before I go talk to him myself.
Who?
Kingston Len. I hear he's got a problem that I'm hoping I can help him out with.
Kenson, huh?
Yeah, just let me know if you hear anything. Or let, point over at whoever my,
Yeah, sure. I'll finish this up and find you. Where you gonna be heading?
we'll be heading down to the, residential district.
Gotcha. I'll find you there. And he kind of nods
Thanks,
and
man.
starts eating a little bit faster so that he can go out and find some way to repay the kindness that has been his meal.
Let's see. How did we split up the money? Is it all still just in the,
You guys didn't say anything other than dumping it on the desk.
No, I took mine. Bosco pocketed all 40 gold.
Thank you, Ironoki, for hosting.
Reference at the 10 gold as investigation spending money.
Ardent would probably have kept the 5 platinum.
I guess Kanji's just paying out of pocket, like, I don't know, a silver. I don't actually know how much money I have.
Revan's just leaning against the door, waiting for you to finish.
Right. Is that all you do here?
Yeah. Basically, I'm wanting to get the investigation pre-started on Kenson while we go meet with Gerald.
Gotcha. In that case, you go to
Can I-
Oh, what?
And can I use my ride or die skill to help speed along our travel?
You know what? Sure. You actually manage to There are some unattended horses outside because people are prepping for the festival. And there are of course people prepping for the festival if you wanted to ask them for one of their vehicles, or at least a ride like across town. They are like, so your restaurant is on one side of the commercial, and they are on, the vertical gardens are on the other side. But there are bound to be people like heading toward the vertical gardens, which is also kind of, near one of the ways down to the next district.
Yeah, I will see. I'll ask around and see if we can hitch a ride.
You're not like otherwise on the timer. I'm just gonna go ahead and give you that without you having to roll for it.
All right.
Yeah, you hitch a ride. You make it there faster. You actually got a ride with a kindly Moscanite, which is for people who haven't played a ton of fantasy TTRPG stuff. Basically, that is a fly person, and he kind of like happily buzzes along and gets you guys there on time. As you can see, while you're passing the vertical gardens, there is a lot of prep happening right now. There's tents going up. There is, yes, that is the correct spelling actually for Moscanite. The vertical gardens are absolutely gorgeous. Basically, they're this kind of green meadowed area with a lot of flowers. The reason they're called vertical gardens, though, is because the flowers don't end on the ground. They actually go all the way up the stone wall of Jesper, and they are kind of painting this mural of color. In particular, today's mural, enchanted as it is a representation of the great magnolia that has sprouted atop Jesper, and is now, kind of dappling the entire area with shade. But yeah, very busy. The Mosconite hops off to start helping, and leaves you to go about getting back down. Since you
Thank you
already,
kindly.
since you already said that you wanted to use that skill, I'm actually going to, and of course, Kanji, since you already pointed out that you were looking for knowledge, I'm going to let you guys know that Handeth has been working with the Strigan family. He has been trying to make sure that travel can be a lot easier and faster from level to level. You know that there are some zip lines that have been put up, but they haven't been tested yet. I assume that you're willing to try them instead of the stairs.
Reverend's got faith in him.
I'm not sure Kanji would.
Really?
Yeah, I think Kanji's gonna take the stair.
All right. Okay. What about the Reverend?
Well, try to die all the way.
Okay. So the Reverend gets there first, and I'll just say when Kanji gets there, like a couple minutes later. So first of all, you get to Humbert's house. It's fairly plain, common, nothing big or special. It looks like it's one half of a duplex. That's not particularly well kept out front. Are you gonna go ahead and knock there, or are you gonna wait for Kanji to get there? He should be there in a few minutes. I mean, he does run pretty fast.
He's running the whole way. I'm gonna step onto the doorstep and pull out my pocket watch and wait for 40 seconds. And
Crazy kids in their rope flying machines.
enough with the chin wagging. We kill in daylight.
I'm gonna say it takes a little longer than 40 seconds for Kanji to arrive, but you are free to either wait or knock. Both are acceptable answers.
I will knock.
Okay. You do knock one time, and you hear kind of a clatter of stuff just fall over behind the door. 1 minute.
Take your time.
Yeah, he does. You hear a lot of cluttering and moving stuff around, a ton of it, for a few minutes.
This is getting rather concerning.
While Kanji actually arrives, and he's still kind of moving stuff around. I'll be ready in 1 second.
Kanji's panting and smoothing out his suit, adjusting his tie.
The second that you have adjusted your tie, he opens the door and says, "All right, I'm Humbert. Thank you for coming by. You're from Penumbra, right?"
That is correct.
He with his clearly snot-nosed hand, he does reach out to shake.
I hesitate and then shake his hand.
Good to meet you.
Kanji's hands are busy lighting another cigarette.
I pat Kanji's back with the hand. I'm Reverend Jedediah Dahl. This is
Gotcha.
my colleague, Kanji New Smoke.
I'm Humbert. Come in. He opens the door, and I'm trying to think of a polite way to put this. Well, this stream is marked as mature. There is not a good polite way to put this. It smells badly in there. It smells like this might be a particularly lonely person. And there are soiled tissues kind of scattered along the floor, and a lot of trash that's just kind of heaped up by the wall. Takeout boxes and soiled tissues.
Kanji's mouth drops open, the cigarette falls out, and then he pulls out another cigarette and lights it.
Jedediah very consciously holds his hands together to not bump or touch it.
He leads you in, and he's like, "All right, so I was taking some photos the other night, and this absolute freak attacked me while I was at the Vertical Gardens a little while back. I got a fuzzy picture of him, but like it's in the back. It was developing. Just come on." And he kind of like walks through the house, kind of like weaving very carefully around the piles of trash, which you now know is what he was trying to move, just so that there would be enough clear area to walk through. The smell obviously gets worse as you go in.
Kanji is actively trying to focus on the smell of the tobacco.
I am going to note for Kanji, because I know who your character is based on, there are pictures of beautiful women posted all along the walls past the first room.
He is focusing very hard on the cigarette.
They are clearly pictures that they the people in the pictures were not aware that they were being photographed.
Oh. Oh no.
Driven.
Yeah, no, this guy is not great.
We
He
really want to take this one.
He takes you back to kind of a red room for developing photos, and he's like, this jerk busted up my camera, and this shot turned out all wonky and weird, but I mean, if it helps, it'd be really great to just kill him or something. And he holds out this photo, this blurry photo, as he kind of twitches and rubs his wounded leg, which looks like it may or may not be getting infected already.
I gingerly take it by the corner.
The picture itself, it's strange. The subject itself is not blurry. It's more like there's this silvery glow around it. But it looks to be some sort of giant beast. It's easily thrice the size of a man. And it's tearing into one of the great magnolia flowers in the Vertical Gardens that has fallen. And he has a couple more of these pictures of it, coming at him before the camera, got ditched to the ground, and the assailant ran. But yeah, big wolfish features, very grisly kind of character, very, very large claws and teeth, silvery kind of sheen, which is very strange given that the Vertical Gardens are not usually, lit or anything, and this was clearly a picture that was taken at night. Yeah, the bastard bit me. really hurt my leg bad. But he ran and, like, you know, jumped down to one of the lower levels or whatever.
And this was the size of him.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. you did
I'm
pick
lucky I
that
made it out alive. I couldn't come into my job today because of... Well, it's kind of hard to walk right now.
Yeah, you seem real lucky there. Alright, I like poke the Reverend with my with my elbow and just go like, I think we got what we came for. We'll look into this for you, and we'll have one of our guys kill you.
Yeah, I got 30 more gold whenever you guys finish it up, but I really want to pay this guy
We do
back.
realize.
He kind
You
of
do realize we
he
don't-
says that, and he, like, his eyes kind of twitch, and he, like, rubs them. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm coming down with something.
Just a few more follow-up questions. Reverend pulls out a notepad. So about what time did this happen?
It was like a bit past dusk. It was late. I was pretty much wrapped up already, and I just heard a lot of noise, and so I got my camera back out and checked it out or whatever. It was already after work, and I didn't have another shift like the next day, so you know.
And it said after it bit you, it jumped down. Did you see which direction?
I mean, it doesn't really do a lot of good. We were at the Vertical Gardens, and so the nearest thing would be residential. Could get anywhere in there.
All right. Thank you for your time. We'll look into this.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, Leah said she would be at the Vertical Gardens throughout most of the festival, right?
Yeah.
Remember.
She's gonna be there. She's also helping to, you know, prep everything and get it all ready. Same thing with her troupe of artists and dancers. And a lot of the other community, like even from the Temple of Tree and Egg, are all there.
On this note, has Kanji heard any rumors about a mysterious creep photographer taking pictures of people?
You have, actually.
That's what I thought.
You had it, like, this new dishwasher you were already starting to hear bad things about before he called out today. You heard that he was some sort of massive perv, and that if anything bad happened to him, he definitely totally deserved it. From a fair amount of both your regulars and workers that are under you. And yeah, you make the connection that, oh, this was the dishwasher that called out.
I take a note and consider some things.
I strongly recommend you get that wound checked out.
Yeah, sure. I'll head by the hospital or something.
Yeah, so, have we left now? Can we
Yes.
say we left?
Sure,
God,
you
let's
can.
So, Reverend, there's a lot of things about what just happened there that I do not want to talk about. But what do you figure the odds are that he's gonna, be being bitten by some strange, mysterious, magical monster creature that he will shortly turn into some big, mysterious, magical monster creature? Like, what would you say the odds are on that one?
Well, given his mannerisms, I'd say pretty likely. It sounds like that tail with a large creature, man-like, with wolf-like features.
Yeah, the bear wolf.
Yes, the tail of the mermaid.
I'll have one of my guys. I'll call it a favor later and make sure someone keeps an eye on him, but not too close an eye. maybe just close enough at night to make sure he doesn't keep doing what he's been doing.
On the other hand, this creature certainly seems like it's a danger to others as well.
That is true. Well, we'll have to check out the vertical guns. I'm very worried about Lena and her troop being there tonight.
So as you guys are walking back toward, I presume, the stairs because kanji, you see the guy from earlier kind of running back and waving and being like, "Hey, kanji! I found something!"
Oh, hey, friend. Thanks for getting back to me so quick.
Yeah. So I asked about that Kenson guy. It was really easy to track down because he, sells food for the kitchen and whatever. Something about livestock going missing. He's had to order a lot more goats for the sake of being able to keep up with the kitchen's needs for goat cheese. So he's not too happy because he's losing money trying to send product to the restaurant, and one of the owners for the restaurant is like the owner for the agency, and he kind of looks at you and says like, yeah, he's kind of upset that like the personal and business nature of this this particular job hasn't seemed to affect you.
See, just from the way the letter was phrased, I just immediately feel like I've already got beef with this guy.
I mean, he is, at the very least, not happy with kanji in particular right now. Because it's like, again, he makes food for your restaurant, and he asked for help, and nothing.
Crickets.
See, I'm trying to piece together, like, why kanji doesn't like this guy.
That's a question for you to figure out. Do you have anything else to say to him, or are we gonna switch back over to Bosco and Ardent?
Kanji tells the guy that he did a good job and tips him another silver out of pocket, I guess, because I don't have any money. And just something I want to go over with the Reverend. Yeah, so, not gonna lie, Reverend, me and this Kinston guy, we don't really get along. I'm not sure me going there is actually gonna help out too much. Think I could get you to look into the finer details while I start working on the big picture of this case we got going on? I'd be surprised if big giant man-attacking monster and missing livestock weren't connected in some way.
Yes, this does seem to have a common cause.
Oh God. Okay.
Sure, I can go.
All right. So you guys are splitting up then. You guys are, you said so. Kanji is going back to the commercial district, and
Do we want to check in with the Haze?
Sorry, I missed the first half of what you.
Do you want to check in with the other case in the Haze?
I would like to stop by and meet within the Haze regulars of mine, and I know Bosco wants to get there too. Might be might be good to just cover our bases.
Alright, I'll tell you what. You check in with the Haze, meet up with Bosco and Auden, and then send Bosco down.
all right.
Pretty good shot, so if we do some hunting.
So the Reverend is going to like the farms below to meet with Kenson, and all three of the rest of you are going to be meeting on the residential area, correct?
Sounds right to me.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, we're already kind of reaching well into the day now. But with the location of this area and with having to like pass through the Petal District and the areas that are in between kind of the entrances and exits and where the Haze actually are, I'm just gonna gonna let you all reach there at the same time for the sake of keeping everything easy for all of us.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, no
Much
problem.
appreciated.
Happenstance.
Much obliged.
So let's put you all here in the residential area.
It'd be great if they find Kanji trying to at a park or a fountain, just trying to scrub off the back of his blazer because you realize the red and white's not on him.
What in the Sam hell are you doing?
So you all reach the haze at kind of the same time, or rather you run into each other on the way, kind of at the edge of the pedal district. But you reach there.
As we're walking up, I really want Ardent to say, it's really weird that nobody so far seems to have seen any kind of large beast that would have done that kind of damage. They can't be inconspicuous.
Yeah, you'd think that would be pretty obvious. I mean,
Hey.
if it could break into a building.
So really quick here.
Yeah.
Ardent, can you roll your deductivism for me for a hot second?
Absolutely. Let's see, D12.
Mm-hmm.
That is a total of 17.
No, you don't notice it.
Oh no. Is there one just walking in the distance?
It's ripping up in the background.
I ain't want to break it
For
to
the-
you, but
for
there's
the
a ball
sake of-
on your shoulders right now.
For the sake of fairness,
Comedic effect.
Bosco, can you roll gumption for me?
I would love nothing more. Well, do you look at that? That's an 11. That is the highest. Oh, I'm sorry. I rolled grub rustling, not gumption.
Thank you, Aboriginal and
Try that
Chinese
again.
Zubats.
All right. That's a 20.
That's a 20. You
That's a 20.
notice, just barely late, the feeling of your your wallet being taken out of your pocket, and then the pause at the realization of you noticing, and then the wallet slipping back into your pocket, and you hear a behind you.
All right, Bosco's gonna turn around and reach for Angelica.
You turn around and you immediately see both of you see a familiar face, Fire Lily. She's kind of giggling and throwing up and down Arden's wallet. You guys are getting
come on.
slow. And
Get
she
your
tosses
ridden hand out my pocket.
she tosses Arden's wallet back to him.
Thank you.
What brings you here?
Oh, the usual. Hunting down dangerous criminals, which I'm sure you, of course, are quite familiar with, ain't you, Miss Lily?
I wouldn't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I'm sure you wouldn't.
So, what is this about? Is this about what happened with Hayes?
It certainly is.
Gotcha.
We haven't quite got to Miss Hayes, to Mr. Hayes yet. Why? You got a little bit of premonition to lay upon us?
Well, and she kind of looks around carefully to make sure no one's there. I may or may not have seen some robed figures escorting a suspicious looking kind of person through here the night before Amina went missing.
Missing, you say?
If you,
Rogue figure?
If you happen to have anything that could help jog my memory, that might be nice.
Yeah, I know your game. I know your game. Bosco's gonna reach into his pocket and pull out a single gold, look over at Tiger Lily, reach back in and pull out 3 more gold.
She takes
What
the
do you
gold.
say, moral gold here?
She grabs it. Oh yeah. So you know those rumors about the cult of the old gods going around and the missing people and all that?
Yeah, we heard.
Oh yeah, those are real.
Ah,
We've been seeing a few people going missing. They seem to have I don't know if they've hired some help. We call them dogs because they're a lot like dogs or wolves. They walk on 2 legs, but they're kind of lately they've been coming in with those big monstrous things with like claws and teeth or whatever. They kind of keep them on a tight leash.
Like dog
But,
myself. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
Arden
No,
kind
they,
of awkwardly like
Not
places a
you,
hand
the
on
Reverend.
his horn and just puts his hand back down.
No, they've been walking around kind of like you would for when you're casing a place. But they just stopped recently, like maybe a few days ago. Since then I haven't really seen him. But it was the time that they were casing that Amina went missing, so that's what I got.
Well,
Catch her on the flip side. She kind of flips the gold coin, grabs it, shoves it in her pocket, and starts walking away. Very
Well,
much
that
my
does-
work here is done.
does make things a little more dire. Kanji, I don't know what you guys got going on, but I think I should head on over to the Hayes house.
Sorry, Kanji's like met up with them now. I didn't know if this was happening.
I'm okay, since you didn't catch, well, we'll just say that you're Kanji's walking up right as Fire Lily is walking
This was,
away.
Right as we were right as we were heading up to Kanji.
Yeah, so
I
you
would've played
see
with it.
Fire Lily
It's
just
okay.
walking away, kind of looking smug, and she says, "Hey, Kanji."
Make much
Keeps
more.
walking.
You need to go into the top doors of the restaurant rather than the soup kitchen, Fire Lily. He says that kind of flirtily, though.
Bosco shakes his head and says, "Boy, you are a wolf among lions."
Thank you, Shiny Zubats. She kind of like, pulls down an eye and sticks out a tongue, goes, "Nah." But she keeps walking. She kind of giggles and walks off, kind of disappearing into a bush. Thank you.
Hey,
Ariel.
Arden.
We have a question for
Oh.
for Bosco when we get a chance.
I
Do we?
did not see that there was a question.
The question
Oh,
is from
there is a
Abner
question.
Doodle.
Is Bosco seeing someone, or does Bosco have a crush on anyone? Tell you what, we might actually have a small break here shortly, so like, we'll have a chance to answer that in a minute, I think.
Yeah, we'll find
For
out
now, let's
next
keep going. But remember that.
Remember.
As Fire Lily walked away and Arden was kind of like touching his horn, turns to the other two. You don't think I'm a monster, do you?
Oh. Poor
Arden, you're
Arden.
about as least monstrous as a man I could know.
Even though I'm not human or elf.
Oh, course not. You strike me as a well-fit hat.
Poor Arden.
Hell, honestly, I wonder why you pal on with a bunch of flat yaks like us, if you'll pardon the expression, of course.
I'm not sure I know what the expression is, but pardoned.
Thank you kindly.
So I assume you guys head on to
Yes.
the Hayes residence.
Let's go see
While
about
they
Hayes.
walk, Kanji fills them in on Hubert's house.
Humbert the Satyr, yes.
Humbert, yeah, sorry. Humbert, and in no certain terms says, "Yeah, we drew the short straw on that one."
Slimy
Certainly
little.
sounds like We had a
Quite
very different
literally,
kind
it
of mess,
sounds.
but
Now,
that
I thought
does...
we was visiting Humbert. Weren't you already supposed to be visiting with the Haze?
I think we
Nobody
might have
visited the
at some
Haze?
point gotten confused who was going where.
It does
Oh,
sound like
hell.
it, but you know what?
God
It's
damn it.
fine. It all worked out. And
This
as a
is
matter of fact, do you still have that picture?
I don't know. Would either
Oops,
the Reverend
our-
or
our-
Kanji have actually taken it?
I would have taken the one-handed,
Okay.
but I don't think I gave it to Kanji.
What a shame.
That's okay. Oh well.
Whoops.
Arden can see
Well-
it later, I guess.
It just strikes me.
Thank you, Glitter and Grime, for following.
It strikes me that a creature that big and that aggressive, perhaps, may be exactly what we're looking for.
See, I'm worried about where we've charted these attacks now because we've placed one in the elite district and one in the vertical gardens.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, elite, commercial, residential, perhaps,
That
followed
depends.
by. Yes,
Yeah.
perhaps we'll see.
Speaking of which, you guys arrive at Gerald Hayes' residence. He's actually he's outside and just trying to have a peaceful lunch, but he was clearly already looking out for you guys to arrive. It looks like he's been trying to work on making some sort of mechanical thing, but it's clearly not working for him because he is clearly not, in his strong suit. It is literally just I'm doing a new thing because I need some way to occupy my mind and hands. But he sees you all, and of course you all are familiar faces, and he's like, "Oh, it's good that you're finally here.
Gerald,
How have you been?"
better looking than you, man.
He's
You're a bit cattywampus, ain't you? What's going on?
So I followed up with Officer Martins, like you suggested at first. She's been ordered to inform me that that the city can no longer look into the case anymore. So I really need you guys' help. I already lost Connie. I can't lose Amina too.
Bosco's gonna put his hands on Gerald's shoulders and say, "You ain't losing her. We'll find her."
I have a a question on the level of relationship with Hayes. Obviously, we're pretty much all familiar with him. What I'm picturing Kanji doing is literally just going straight into his kitchen and preparing Hayes a meal.
Like,
You
how
would be
familiar
more than
are
welcome
you?
to do that. Gerald Hayes and the Hayes family up to this point has been an absolute pillar to the community. They're a few of the other kind of somewhat magical folk that have still managed to make it all the way up to like this level of the residential district. I mean, it's kind of weird for a centaur to be walking around with normal people, but they're very kind, and they're the kind of people who get involved and help the community in any way that they can at any opportunity. They're the ones who are hosting any block parties. They're the ones who are organizing any events at the church. Like they are those kinds of people. And his daughter, Dr. Amina Hayes, has helped many of you both on and off the clock at her job, or at home with any sort of injuries that you've incurred during your adventures and investigations. She's a brilliant young woman, cutting edge of both traditional and magical medicine. And her missing from the community is hard for everyone, but especially hard for Gerald because he lost his wife last year. Amina has been burying herself in work. And Gerald, is clearly doing very, very poorly, handling not only the loss of his wife, but now the potential loss of his child.
I very much definitely want to cook him a meal with whatever he's got around right now.
He has a
everyone
fully
else-
stocked kitchen, and you note that he takes very good care of everything in there.
Should I roll? Should I...
You're not on the clock or anything. I'll note that there's a grill in the back, behind the house, and there's again, fully stocked kitchen. Go ahead and make whatever you want to make, buddy.
Meanwhile, it may not be the most appropriate use, but I think Bosco would want to kind of calm Gerald down, and I could probably use charm to do so. So would the philandering roll be possible, or should I just
Yeah, go
talk
for
him
it.
down? All
Is
right.
there any way I can help him with this role? Using my kind heart calm aura?
Sure can. Tell you what. Since you're working together, go ahead and just add both of your modifiers to your roll. So, Wes, go ahead and add both your modifier and Ty's modifier for kind heart calm aura. That is an 18.
All right, so that puts it at a 69.
Nice.
Hell,
Nice.
He
keep
kind
it
of
away from it.
sniffles and pulls himself together, and he says, "Right. So I'm not supposed to tell anyone this, but he walks back kind of into the house, and he grabs a pretty thick folder. Now I can't let you guys have this, but Officer June, she made sure to get me everything that she could in terms of the investigation and the information involved. I have to give this back to her, but this is what they've got." And he hands over the case file to you guys.
Much obliged, Mr. Hayes.
Upon looking at it, they did actually try to piece together everything that happened. They also got the same testimony that you just got from Fire Lily, but without having to bribe her.
Well,
So
Fair
they
enough.
know that there have been mysterious sightings of both strange creatures that are undocumented in the city, as well as the cult of the old gods. They were able to find some blood splatters, some sort of attack that went down, and some gouges in the ground between the hospital and the Hayes residence, actually. And they were able to track down just droplets and little bits all the way down to about the end of the dwarves kind of level down to the ruins. But it is pretty strict policy for the officers of Jesper to not enter the ruins. It is far too dangerous because of just completely broken infrastructure. So they are at this point, assuming Amina was taken below, she is beyond the city's jurisdiction.
Bosco's gonna nod over everything and place his hand back on Gerald's shoulders and say, "Now, Gerald, ain't nothing in this world sweeter than Dr. Hayes. Not honey wine, not treacle cake. We're gonna make sure she brings that sweetness back to you. I promise you that."
And on that note,
I was
on
just
that-
gonna say he takes like kind of a shaky breath and nods his head. He's trying to keep himself together, especially since you guys are doing so much to comfort him. And he looks to you, Kanji, as you walk back out front with whatever you're holding.
Speaking of sweet,
mushroom grilled cheese sandwich with arugula and pear salad.
Thank you. He takes it and he clearly starts just stress eating and crying. This is a grown ass, big, muscly kind of character, and he is crying over this food. And his daughter, but also the food.
Oh, what I expected. I made enough for everyone, of course. It's lunchtime.
It is.
That
It
it
is like starting to get kind of into late lunch territory. Yeah.
I assume we're all comfortable talking about the case and what we've gathered so far in front of Gerald. As
Gerald's a very, very trusted person.
Yeah.
He probably knows quite a bit more than he even says to most people, just because a lot of people probably share things with him. Oh, by the way, knowing about things, I almost forgot to mention one note for this case. Handeth is written in there as well. And he is a suspect in the case because he is one of the few people who is known to frequent the ruins and kind of knows his way down around there. And because he is one of the only people who could actually have the know-how to navigate the ruins, he's made it onto the suspect list. And although to anyone analyzing his personality, he's probably pretty clearly innocent, in the absence of any other prime suspects with a name, that explains why he hasn't shown up to the restaurant. He's hiding. That is all.
Gotcha. And Handeth was an employee of mine or a...
Handeth is not technically an employee. He's kind of this old, knowledgeable drunk who hangs around
Right.
a lot of times near the bathhouses. But he's one of the few people who knows the city, every single bit of it, down to the ruins that no one else goes to because they're too dangerous. Aside from the Barkema dwarves, he's one of the few people who actually knows the city, and in doing so, he knows who needs help to get food from you or to get to or from your restaurant. He's also a pretty good guy, even though, again, he's a bit of a drunk. He's fairly handy, and he's... One of his big projects is that he's been working pretty closely with the Stregan family to make the city more handicapped accessible. But yeah, that's kind of his whole deal. He just helps get people and food to and from the restaurant. And
I bet those
Since
zip
he
lines
knows
are
the
incredibly
place.
handicap accessible.
well, they're not done yet, and
Would be
they're
if
not
you-
the only thing.
They keep using it. There might be some handicaps accessible.
Yeah, but like since he knows his way around, he's a helpful informant and a very helpful, again, member of the community as well.
Well, I doubt Handith is the one actually involved in this, but he may have some information. I can't help but think back on what we heard from Lily, though. Combined, of course, with has Arden talked about the pieces of paper he found and everything?
Yes,
There's a
the
single
only
connection.
thing he would not have talked about was Jillet's connection to the Thieves Guild. Not that he minds sharing that, just not in public.
And the three names, if I recall right, you
Yes, the three
found
names
Regis's
are
names.
Regis
yeah.
Fleck, the Cardinal Company, and then the Cult of the Old Gods.
So one of these things is not like the other.
Yes.
Cardinal Company and Regis are both the kind to search for information, and the Cult of the Old Gods are less involved, are more likely to be someone who is investigated rather than investigating. Combined with what we heard from Lily, I think they're our biggest lead for all of our cases so far.
How we gonna find anything like that?
Well, that's the tough part. I mean, there is rumored that they have some area to meet, but it would be far below past the crypts and in the ruins somewhere. So yeah, no one even knows. Not everyone acknowledges that they exist, and the people who do acknowledge that they exist still acknowledge that they have no idea where they would actually hide.
Yeah, it does seem that the Cardinal Company may have some information on their whereabouts if they're able to funnel money towards the cult.
You know, Handeth here is a suspect in the case apparently because he knows them ruins better than anybody else does. Maybe that'll make him a valuable asset here as well. Think we should return to him, see if we can maybe get some more information about what else is down there? I can't imagine he would attack Amina of all people if he's so concerned with helping the injured.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Handith doesn't make any sense.
As since you pointed out Handeth as an asset, by the way, Bosco, you also have connections to the Barkem, the dwarves that are below, but they're the closest thing to a bunch of drunk archaeologists that y'all have as well. But they also know their way pretty well around the ruins. So they're like, as far as you guys know, you only know two individuals or groups who would know their way around the ruins and even have a chance at finding kind of the base of the Cult of the Old Gods.
There is a possible third, which involves us going back to Mara in the Elite District and seeing if they have any connections that may be able to help us. But that is a long trip to go all the way to the top and then all the way to the bottom again.
We got daylights burning. We either gotta act now or start this whole thing up again tomorrow morning.
I absolutely concur. I thought it worth putting out there.
What if
already well past midday at this point? For the audience, I don't remember if I said this earlier, but the reason that I'm trying to keep track of the daylight so tightly is that this place, because of these really high walls, they only get 5 to 8 hours of daylight every day. And there is now a giant tree in the way. And of course, this is also all before the stars even existed. So when it hits nighttime, it is, aside from sources of light like fire or lightning bugs, or certain magic, it's dark, just complete
it's
black.
It's before the moon as well, right?
Before one of them, yes.
Okay.
Kanji, you were gonna say something.
Yeah. I'm not going to do this in the voice, but what if we... So part of this relies on the information we get back from the Reverend. see if he's able to snuff anything out about from Kai-san or Ken-san. But rather than calling it a night, why don't we use the festival as an opportunity to gather even more information? We know these creatures are skulking around and attacking people. I am not confident we'll be able to put a stop to them all just tonight. What if we try and use the opportunity to spring a trap?
So
very
you're
possible.
thinking maybe they'll try to attack the festivities?
Well, not the festivities. Perhaps, as they've done, lone people outside of it. I, for one, am worried about Lena and the dancing troupe all by the Hanging Gardens. We've already seen, we've already got a trace of one there.
There's also the fact that anybody who is anybody, not my words, is going to be at this festival, so it would be an excellent opportunity to gather information on witness accounts.
About
Won't
that,
you and
on a
Go
on a quick reminder-y note, they are like this is an enormous event. Like these sorts of festivals do not happen. It is very rare that Lena would actually get approval from the mayor to have an event that invites, you know, not only the elite to come down to the vertical gardens, but anyone, regardless of the layer that they live on, to come up. So this is absolutely enormous. It would not be an exaggeration to say that a great many of the people who can get around the city will go
Will be
there.
going.
So like again, anyone who's anyone, kind of situation.
Also free food.
Also free food, yeah.
Out of character as well. Didn't the Reverend ask Kanji to send Bosco down to?
Yes, yes, he did.
Oh yeah,
yes, he did.
I did.
Which means that if you
I
wanted
forgot.
to,
Kyle forgot.
well,
forgot that he was
it also
supposed to go
means
to Hayes
that,
first.
so you've, in the interest of time, you guys have expressed exploring the festival. Now, a lot of people, as I said before, already are going there to try and help out. You could potentially find the people you might need to ask some questions, whether they be the authorities like the mayor, whether they be representatives of the Cardinal Company, or even just community members. Like, there's a good chance that you can talk to most people there, except for Cassandra Mir, because she has to stay at her post in the temple. But other than that, everyone will be there.
Kanji suggests that he and Arden go to the festival and start getting set up and getting a plan together. And, you know, suggest that Bosco goes down to meet with the Reverend, catch him up to speed, and then meet us at the festival as soon as possible.
Do I gotta?
You work the best together. It'll be the fastest way to get everything we need done.
I don't want to hang around with that holy hogwash all by myself.
I mean,
If that's what you insist, oh leader of ours, I
Oh,
suppose I'll get on down to the farmlands then.
I love
Kanji
it.
lights
Bosco,
another cigarette.
Has 3 in his mouth right now.
I really
Bosco.
hope that first one he dropped has accidentally set what's his face's house on Humber.
Well, there was no shortage of very flammable tissues all over the ground.
Well, I mean, the tissues are wet.
oh,
They
man.
were wet. Now
Um,
they're practically tender.
I am. I rolled luck. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know. No, the house did not catch on fire. But it would have been interesting
Depends.
because he wasn't there. He went to the hospital, so no one would have been around to put it out.
Fair enough. All right.
Bosco, if you don't want to go down, I can. I can head
Oh
down.
no.
No,
I'll
I
handle the Reverend. I appreciate it. I do truly, but if there anybody that's gonna keep him, wrangled, it's gonna have to be me.
Very noble of
Kanji,
you.
as Ardent is offering to go instead of Bosco. Kanji behind Bosco is like shaking his head and like mouthing, "I don't want to be around him either."
I don't know why. I'm right.
Dang.
All right. So is that the plan? Kanji and Ardent are going up, and Bosco will meet with the Reverend below at Kenson's.
I appreciate you not saying going down with the Reverend.
I'm down with the Reverend.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it, but you said it.
Incorrigible, this one here.
Clarifying, Iron Oki asked, "Oh, come on, no one likes the Godman?" And a Metal Magic says, "Ardent does." I'm like, "Oh no, I like the Reverend. It's Bosco I wanted to get rid of."
Everyone likes the Reverend in real life. Okay. Before we pick back up with both of those sides of it, I'm gonna say, let's do a 5-minute break really quick, just so that anyone can like refill drinks and go to the bathroom, and then be right back.
All right.
Is that
Sounds
cool?
like a plan.
Sounds good.
All right.
Hey,
then,
and then when we come back, are we going to answer any questions that came up?
yes, we
Yeah.
are gonna answer those questions.
Sweet. So
Have
get
there
those
been
questions
more?
in. You can cash in 100 points or 100 retorts for character questions.
Awesome. All right. We will be right back in a few minutes.